Okay, so we're diving deep today into something really important. Celebrating women who inspire.
Yeah, it's a great piece.
It is by Lunarize. And we're going to be talking about Women's History Month, why it matters.
Yeah, looking at the impact women have had throughout history and also like in our world today, you know?
Absolutely. And this is your chance to really get a clear, concise understanding of this topic. We're not going to be going off on tangents or anything. This is a deep dive.
Right, to the heart of the matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start with the basics, right? March, Women's History Month. The Lunarize article really kicks things off by saying it's a time to honor the resilience, the brilliance, the spirit of women who have shaped our world.
Right, and it's so much more than just like a yearly thing.
It feels bigger, yeah.
It does, and we also have, within March, we have International Women's Day.
Right, on the 8th.
On the 8th.
Yeah.
And the blog post mentions this, and it really highlights that it's a global spotlight, on women's strength and their achievements and just the massive, contributions they've made.
So it's a chance to celebrate for sure, but the article also mentions that, this recognition, it also underscores the ongoing need to make sure that all women have a voice, that they're valued without limit.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, there's still work to be done.
Absolutely. And, I think it's fascinating because the article, while it acknowledges the massive historical shifts that have happened, because of iconic women figures, right?
Oh, yeah.
It also draws attention to the women who are making a huge impact in our everyday lives.
Yeah, the ones we don't hear about so much.
Yeah, and I think immediately people would think about figures like, Rosa Parks, the quiet defiance that started a huge movement.
Absolutely.
Marie Curie with her groundbreaking scientific discoveries in medicine.
Right, life-changing.
And then someone like Maya Angelou, whose words, literally as the blog says, gave voice to generations. These are the women we tend to, put on a pedestal and learn about.
For good reason, but I think that the point the Lunarize piece makes is, what about the women who don't make the history books?
Right.
What about the single mothers, struggling to make ends meet, or, the teachers who are shaping young minds, the nurses providing essential care, the activists, in local communities working so hard.
And the caregivers.
The caregivers.
We don't always see that resilience.
It's invisible work often.
And the blog really emphasizes that, that kind of commitment to helping others deserves just as much recognition
Absolutely.
as those who maybe get wider fame and acclaim. And I think it makes you think about the everyday heroes that are, all around us.
It does. And it's interesting because the article then kind of leads into the author's personal reflections.
Yeah.
They talk about being surrounded by strong women themselves, their mother, grandmother, friends, mentors, colleagues.
I love that part.
It makes it personal, right?
Yeah, it's not just this abstract historical thing.
Yeah, and that's what's cool about the piece is it talks about how history isn't just something that happened. It's being made right now by women who dare to dream, to speak up, to lead.
That's inspiring.
It's powerful.
Women are shaping our world every single day. And so to really illustrate that point, I think the article brought in some examples of modern day trailblazers.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
People like Malala,
Malala Yousafzai.
Incredible story, the fight for girls' education.
Serena Williams completely changed the face of women's athletics.
And Oprah, of course, from facing so much adversity to becoming such a huge influence.
And those are just a few, right?
The tip of the iceberg.
Because the blog also makes a point of saying there are countless other women who may not be household names who are also making these huge contributions, reshaping industries, driving innovations, and, leading movement.
Absolutely. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah. And that leads to a really important question. How do we go beyond acknowledging these amazing achievements to actually supporting and elevating women in our daily lives?
How do we make a difference? Yeah.
The blog gives us some concrete actions we can take.
It's not just about awareness.
Right.
It's about doing something.
So it's not enough to just, acknowledge Women's History Month and then move on.
Right.
We need to amplify women's voices.
Yeah.
Right? Share the work of female artists, writers, leaders.
Put a spotlight on them.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems simple. But think about the ripple effect.
Yeah.
And then there's supporting businesses owned by women.
Directly impacting their success.
It contributes to their economic empowerment. And the blog also mentioned, speaking up for women who might not have a platform.
Being an ally.
Right. And that can be so powerful at the right moment. And then there was the point about mentoring and uplifting. If we've benefited from the guidance and support of strong women.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Pay it forward, exactly. And encourage younger women and girls to pursue their dreams.
And remind them of their potential.
Absolutely. And of course, advocate for equality across the board, in the workplace, at home, in society.
Right.
The blog really emphasizes that this is a human issue.
It benefits everyone.
It's not just a women's issue.
We all win.
And it really brings home the idea that this isn't just about celebrating the past.
It's about shaping the future.
Right. Building a more equitable world for everyone. And I love how the blog concludes by reminding us that women's history is a story that's still being written.
It's an ongoing narrative.
And we're all a part of it.
We all have a role to play. And I think what's really cool is that it highlights how every woman, through her actions, her choices,
Right.
she's leaving her mark.
No matter how big or how small.
Whether it's through her work, her family, community involvement, just living authentically, it all contributes to this bigger story.
It's really connecting those grand historical events to the everyday lives of women.
Exactly. It brings it home.
So to sum it all up, our deep dive into the Lunarize piece, it shows us that Women's History Month is not just a date on the calendar.
It's a call to action.
It's a time to reflect on the incredible contributions women have made, to celebrate their current achievements, and to renew our commitment to support and uplift women every single day.
Right.
It's about recognizing the milestones, but also those everyday acts of strength that often go unnoticed.
And when you think about it, recognizing and valuing everyone's contribution, no matter their gender, it makes society richer.
Absolutely.
This month is a really great reminder of that.
It is. And the blog ends with this really thought-provoking question.
Oh, yeah, I love this part.
Who are the women who inspire you?
Yeah.
And they say, let's honor them, not just in March, but every day.
Every single day.
So as we finish up here, that's what we want to leave you with.
Think about it.
Take a moment. Think about those women who've inspired you. And think about how you can acknowledge and honor their impact, not just during Women's History Month, but through your actions each and every day.
It's a great way to keep the spirit alive all year round.
Absolutely.
And that wraps up our deep dive, I think.
Yeah, great deep dive.
Really important topic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time.